Okay, so I'm going to do a quick little video here. It is June 24th of 2022. I was outside today. I had to take a break from the computer. I was on the computer for 2 days working on adjusting the affidavit. And then tomorrow and Sunday, I have to continue working. Oh boy, must be my eye. I have to continue working. Gotta wash off that dirt when I'm out in the yard, right? On the document list, figure out how to do an e-file for the sound recordings and the original videos that were, converted before they went up on YouTube. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, right? And then drop it off at the courthouse, I guess, on Monday morning early, because I would think that the Attorney General's office and the Solicitor Attorney General's office can get it by Thursday, which is the 30th of June. But the judge said just get it into court by June, so June 30th, so I don't know. I had to take a day break, but then I was outside frying my eyes under the blaring sun, sweating profusely on my hands and knees, cutting grass because it got so long out there, and just doing whatever. So anyway, last night when I laid down for a little while, I ended up passing out. But anyway, when I was laying there, and I was thinking, right, people, this is the point of this video. If they wouldn't have done what they did to Uncle John, Shimei would be alive today, people. And not only would she be alive today, but she'd be a nurse. A certified registered nurse, and quite possibly she wanted to go into surgery, like a nurse in surgery. She was capable of it, people. She had a high IQ. That's why she was targeted in the school system. If you have kids, I highly encourage you to tell them not to donate blood. Nope. Because they recruit blood donations in the high schools to the teenagers. Shimei was a blood donor. Myself, personally, I think it's just a means to carry on with that targeting. I really do, people. Only Punjabis can be doctors, lawyers, teachers, nurses, that kind of stuff. People like Shimei, in that caste system, people, they get to be tourist guides. That's why she had to go to another school to upgrade on the things that they wouldn't give her when she was in high school. Because they just refused to do it. Because they had no intentions of her being a professional. Instead, they were targeting her, people. And it was just a matter of time. Okay? Her blood was mapped long before. So what I'm trying to say is, I was talking to Uncle John last night, and I said, gee, John, if your family wouldn't have done what they did to you and us, because they didn't do it just to Uncle John, you see, that's the thing. They injured 7 other people. My 5 kids, myself, and Andre. They injured 8 people by doing what they did in terms of Fraser Health Authority and their staff, CIBC Bank, and John's extended estranged family. Estranged family. Okay? But let's just say they would have done the right thing and let him have his money after Joan died versus doing what they did and taking everything away from him. What? I said, gee, John, what would we have done? Because, you see, the thing is, John and I, we were already talking about maybe moving out of this house to accommodate his needs. One, because he was getting older, and it was getting hard for him to go in and out of the bathtub because of his legs. So we needed a walk-in shower, people. Okay? And, just better kitchen, just whatever. Whatever we needed for Uncle John, I need it for Amari. Even more so, people. But yeah, no, John and I, we were talking about maybe moving. So we, because maybe he would have needed a wheelchair and we would have needed more space, and, a walk-in shower would have been nice for him, or at least a walk-in bathtub or something, right? Maybe just Uncle John would have benefited from a swimming pool, but, we didn't have no money, but we were talking about maybe thinking about moving. That's why I was just going to bring down the last 3 credit cards, people. Right? That was the goal. Bring down the last 3 credit cards, pay hard on them, get them out of the way, not maybe all the way out of the way, and then think about moving. But that didn't happen. But if it would have happened, if they would have told him that he got that money, we would have moved. That's the first thing. I can tell you that right now. We would have moved. We would have made sure that whatever he needed in terms of, like Amari, I can only relate it to Amari. Bigger halls so that you can wheel a wheelchair, walk-in shower, although I don't think Amari would ever take a shower. So, a bathtub that's right, but preferably a pool because, he likes to just whatever, right? But anyway, some kind of a bathroom that would accommodate either Uncle John's needs. But, I'm finding myself that, I'm faced with this same dilemma. That's the dilemma that John and I were facing when he was here before they took him. We were talking about maybe moving, getting something more suitable for his needs, right? And, we had the kids in terms of, they were all young adults by this point, teenagers, whatever. I don't remember how old Shimei was, but, Marcane was going to school specifically for that kind of stuff in terms of physiotherapy and whatever. And Shimei wanted to be a nurse, and Tisha was strong and healthy, and, but that's not what happened, people. That's not what happened. Instead, they took John, tucked him away like a dirty secret, mistreated him, probably gave him shock therapy, practically killed him, stole all his money, robbed him of his family, locked him up like a dirty secret after they were all said and done and the deal was fucking sealed, right? And then they went after Shimei and Sierra. Okay? If Uncle John would have gotten his money like he was supposed to, we would have moved. That's for sure, like I said. We could have had money to have private care people. Private care come in and do things with him. Okay? Just like with Amari. Right? At some point, I'm like in my head, well, you might try and figure out a way to get private care to come in and, I don't know, do something. Not everything has to go through social services, right? In terms of, well, he can take a bus. Yep. Well, no, he can't, right? Oh, yes, he can. I'm here to save the taxpayers' money. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, right? What, is that what we got to look forward to for the rest of Amari's life? But of course, if he goes into foster care, the foster care parent will make $3,000 a month, Okay, my welfare check is $1,370. And the only reason it's that amount of money is because of COVID. When COVID came, the government topped it off by $150 or something like that. And then they capped it, and that's it. Okay? But if he goes into foster care, he's getting, whoever's looking after him will get $3,000 a month, straight up tax-free money. They don't have to pay taxes on it, people. Okay? They get whatever they need in terms of wheelchairs and all that crap. But the thing is, Amari becomes subject to experimental research studies at the whim of doctors and that kind of thing, because he's a foster care child. And we know how that works. And if he should die in the care of the Ministry of Children and Family Development because I can't look after him, because I can't provide the adequate housing for him, do you honestly think they're going to let me look at his files? No. And we know they're going to harvest his organs. Okay? That's your public care. Okay? They were drugging Andre, a little 28-month-old little baby that was crying for his loving family, to shut him up. Who does that, people? As that man thing that considered itself to be a woman. Oh. Did inappropriate things to my grandson for 15 months straight at the advice of a doctor that absolutely created no results in the end. Okay? To which me, myself, feel and think and know that it was more on the lines of perversion. Because it was unnecessary. He never had those problems until he showed up into freaking foster care. And I fought like a dog for 15 freaking months. 22 times we went to court. And Uncle John was in there like a dirty shirt, fighting right along with us. Okay? And look what they did. They turned Sierra, literally, people, into a junkie. But if Uncle John would have gotten that money, you see, maybe, just maybe, we could have put Sierra in a rehabilitation center and paid for it so that she would get it, people. So that she would get it. Because anything that they ever fucking offered, she never got it, people. Because it was always something that she wasn't doing right. But you see, that's how gang stalking under a caste system works. They dangle the carrot in front of you, but they never let you have it. And they beat you down even harder. Until the next time they dangle another carrot in front of you, and then they beat you down again. And that's what happened to Sierra. And then they lured her to her death, and they capitalized off it through a freaking snuff movie. That was not an investigation, what they were doing. They were doing something nasty behind that closed door, and then they harvest her organs after the fact with their fake investigation. It wasn't like they could haul her ass off to the hospital like they did with Shimei and then pretend that she was alive for 9 days. But under a caste system, anything is possible, right? Okay, so I'm like, gee, John, Shimei would be alive today. She'd be a nurse. Sierra more than likely would be alive today and would have recovered. And you know what, John? You'd be alive today with your family. Because when he died, he was 79. If he was still alive, he'd only be like 86 or something like that. 83 or 82. Okay? That's not that old. They kept him alive just long enough to get what they wanted and to make it look like they were looking after him. And that's, don't forget, they put him into a old folks home in 2016, people. Okay? And then soon after that, they kicked out my card through fraudulent actions so that I wouldn't continue to get bank statements to verify. But I already seen it. You see, that's the thing. Okay? And then he lived for just a little while longer, till January 18th. He lived for another year. That was it. That was it. He had his 1 year in an old folks home like Joan. How convenient. How convenient it was for that estranged family as they robbed him of his freaking life, people. Because if he was with us, Sierra, Shimei, Tisha, Marcane, me, he had 5 of us, okay? Because Sierra wasn't always sick. You have to remember that, right? She got sick for a reason, people. Okay? And it was at the hands of the government. And their shoddy freaking vindictive, spiteful, I don't know what they are, people. I don't know. And they have this alliance with organized religion. They do. And that organized religion operates on a caste system. And once your family is targeted, they don't seem to let up. And they do it in such insidious ways. Because I'm looking, I'm thinking about Shimei, and I'm like, okay, well, we know how they set you up. They didn't want you to be a nurse. That's plain to see. Right? And, they put her into deep depression when they illegally apprehended Andre. And that wasn't enough. Then they went after Uncle John. Right? So, she ends up hooking up with some freaking, I don't know, lunatic. She said, Mom, I'm not attracted to black men. No, but I thought I'd give Julian a chance. The one black guy that she ends up dating is the one that freaking kills her. As he's looking at the cop waiting for the cue to go down the fucking hall so that the cop tells me to go deal with Julian so that they can take Shimei's body out of here in a hammock with a perfusion machine on her chest. Okay? And then, I did manage to get her medical files and Amari's medical files from the hospital, but only one hospital, okay, in terms of Shimei. And, reading, and, they're putting in that sleeping pill shit. Let me tell you something about that sleeping pill shit. She came home. She was pregnant. She was having a hard time sleeping, right? In part because, high IQ, whatever. Also, too, she was getting sleep paralysis, like being paralyzed in your sleep. You're awake, but you can't move. Honestly, maybe she was being drugged by Julian, and that's why she couldn't move. Okay? Because, he had access to all kinds of drugs. And obviously, there was something wrong with the dude, right? So, he was probably doing shit before it really got serious. Who knows? Or perhaps she just had insomnia because of the stress in her relationship. He wouldn't change his ways, and, you know, Uncle John was medically kidnapped and we couldn't see him, and it was a all over deja vu, like when they took Andre, we couldn't see Andre, we couldn't see Uncle John, you know, everybody treating us like garbage, right? You know what I mean? So anyway, she went to the doctor. He gave her sleeping pills. She came home and she said, gee, Mom, the doctor gave me sleeping pills. I said, well, that's not good, Sinead. You know, like, don't take them. You know, she said, well, he said I can take once in a while. I said, well, okay, well, if you're going to do that, just once in a while. But try not to take them. And she didn't, people. That's the thing. They tried to give her freaking antidepressants. She didn't even fill out the freaking, what is that called? The prescription. I think I still have it here in her files. Because I told her, you don't get on that bandwagon. Don't be a Joan Duncan. But if we would have moved, she would have been determined to look after Uncle John, would have studied hard, would have been a nurse within however long it takes to become a registered nurse, would have passed with A's. But you see, the people that believe in a caste system think that my family should forever be poor and treated like trash and harvested at the whim of those that want to capitalize off of our bodies. Because for whatever fucking reason, for whatever boo-boo reason, they seem to think that they're so much better than everybody else on this freaking planet. And as far as I'm concerned, if that's the case, then why don't they go back to their own rotten, stinking freaking countries with their backward ways and go harvest their own people? And take their organized religion with them. But it's beyond that though now, people, because the public union sector itself is corrupt. And they need those individuals to do the things that they do. Otherwise, the government wouldn't be sending them in on boatloads to do their dirty work for them. Shutting off IVs 1 year after an old person ends up in an old folks' home. Right? Just stupid shit like that. Anyway, I said, gee, John, if you would have gotten what you were entitled to get, life would have been completely different. My children would be alive. My children would be alive. They wouldn't have been gang stalked by a bunch of freaking crooks with whatever just to cover their tracks, okay? And capitalize. And then justify it. Justify it by saying, oh, they're just, poor. Just, trash, right? But Uncle John would be alive. I can almost guarantee you that, people. She may be a nurse. Maybe Amari wouldn't have been injured at the time of his birth. Maybe she may just, I don't know. But they wanted Amari injured. You see, that's the thing. It falls under that caste system. Just like they wanted a dead body on a freaking hospital bed for 9 days. Because it falls under that caste system. Just like they wanted Sierra out on the streets for 8 freaking years until she was finally lured to her death with a fake fucking boo-boo stupid investigation that was just to cover up for their crimes. Because it all falls under that caste system. But you can't wish upon a star. I can't get my children back. I can't get Uncle John back, people. And whatever Uncle John needed, Amari needs. That's ironic. But not really, because That's their pattern. Right? They injure. So they can gather wealth for themselves. And put dead body parts into their bodies and then run around bragging how freaking pristine they are. It's gross. It's so gross, people. To know that Uncle John could be alive, to know that Shmay could be alive, to know that Sierra could be alive, to know that maybe Amari would have had a freaking fighting chance versus being set up for failure for his whole life, waiting for somebody to, oh yeah, yes, that's right, he's a very severely disabled child, yeah, you really don't need to take a bus because, you know, just shit like that. Just as my landlady is breathing down my back to move out of her house so that she can get rich. And there's no other houses to rent because they're all the same, because it all goes under that caste system. That's what it is, people. And the only way they can sustain themselves is by bringing in more immigrants on freaking subsidies. Unless, of course, they've got big bucks for themselves. And if they're coming in with big bucks, then chances are they're freaking criminals. So, in essence, I blame all these workers. I don't care what freaking ministry. But definitely Fraser Health Authority and CIBC Bank. They're a big catalyst. Right. Because of their actions, I have 2 dead daughters, and Uncle John is dead. And Amari is severely injured. For life.